Hey, Arash. Oh, you're looking like, did you just get out of a tanning bed?
No, Barney, I'm just brown.
Well, so am I, but sometimes we look a little more. And you
I think,
are, maybe
I
that's
think
just
it's
the
because I'm
excitement.
next to Muncie. I think it's because I'm next
Yes.
to 2% milk right there on the stream.
Or is it
I
just
could
the
have used a
excitement?
little lights work here today, eh?
Yeah, the excitement of the game on Sunday. Maybe that's what the glow is all about.
There you go. There you go.
Speaking
I
of
was able to
investments,
land.
this segment's like an investment deal for you. What are you putting into this weekend? What is this going to work out for Arash Madani's trip to Minnesota?
No, Detroit. It's in Detroit.
Or Detroit, sorry, yeah.
So this actually, just before I came on, I was checking. I'm flying to Windsor on points. I'm staying in Windsor on points.
Oh, what kind of accommodations in Windsor? Take us through that.
You don't want to know. You don't want to know. I'm assuming when I get in there, there'll be some tape on the carpet with an outline of a body. I'll just have to kind of climb over the yellow tape to get in.
If you got, hold on, Chikai, if you have, send me a picture. If it's got the little bars of soap and that hard to get off wrapping, I want to, and if it's got a bottle opener by the sink. Those are the two things I want to know, because then I know what kind of situation you're in.
Now, is the bottle opener attached to a chain to the sink? Like one of those where they don't even want you taking the bottle opener away?
It should be bolted to the sink.
The highlight I just checked, because I've gone once before for a Vikings-Lions game, way before either team was any good, like 7 or 8 years ago. There is a tunnel bus that goes from Windsor to Detroit. So you get on a city bus in Windsor every hour on the hour. Fellas, it is $10, cash only. And the website for the city of Windsor says the driver will not provide change. So you can't.
Wow.
I don't know how like Revenue Canada kind of like deals with all of this, but that's what we're dealing with to get through the tunnel, to get from Ontario to Michigan, to dial in for the game of the century.
There's probably
clear this up, Barney. We should probably clear this up for those that are joining us wherever they may be today. Arash Madani from Sportsnet is a huge Minnesota Vikings fan. I think everybody kind of knows that or probably figured this out in the last 7 minutes. But, boy, does it get any bigger than this weekend for hype now that we're finally towards the end of this long regular season drama that's been the purple and gold?
We'll get to the game in a sec. Barney, do you know how big a Vikings fan I am? Let's rewind the clock, 10 or 11 years ago? When a newborn Munns entered the world and Jay Nizzle Munns got himself a brand new Vikings kind of onesie as a gift. So from the beginning, we were trying to indoctrinate Brian's son into Vikings fandom. I just wanted misery to follow him as long as he lived.
And at age 13, congratulations, you've succeeded because Jefferson is all that matters in our house.
Beautiful.
And does your son wear a Cousins jersey by chance? Because I'd love to see Arash's face if that was the case.
I tell you what, guys.
Like that.
No. He's raised better by his mother.
Go Bills.
I tell you this. One of the guys working Sunday Night Football, Mike Florio, has a daily show. And like he's been doing these primetime games for almost 10 years now. He actually said that this Sunday's game is the biggest Sunday Night Football game in the history of their primetime package. Like, can you think about it? 14-2 versus 14-2, division title on the line, number 1 seed and home field through the entire NFC. The Lions have now kind of been a sexy team all year. Like, they caught nobody by surprise after getting to the NFC Championship last year. And that place is going to be bonkers Sunday night. Like, they flexed that out of 1 o'clock to 8:30. last game of the year, I think it's going to be great.
Okay, so take your purple underwear off.
Mm-hmm.
Are they going to win this game? Do they have a chance?
A chance, yes. Are they going to win it? I don't know. I would say they had a much better chance if it was in God's country in Minnesota and not in Detroit. Like, you think about it, the Vikings started 5-0 and they ended the season 9-0. And in between, there was a 5-day stretch where they lost to Detroit by 2, and then 3.5 days later boarded a plane for LA and lost to the Rams on a Thursday night. So they went toe-to-toe with the Lions the first time around. This time, it's a Detroit defense that's depleted compared to when you think about October.
Yes, exactly.
And the Vikings have a couple of provisions that weren't in that game, including TJ Hawkinson at tight end, a former Lion draft pick, who's really emerged as a big-time threat for them. So, to me, this is a really legitimate, tight, close matchup, and really it's going to come down to execution and who's going to do it. And I just think if you like to sprinkle now and again, 87's prop number is 44.5 yards. I just think that he's going to be Sam Darnold's security blanket over the middle.
I think this game, and I don't want to sound like I'm NFL analyst guy, but I think from watching enough of these two teams over the last little while here, this game comes down to the Minnesota Vikings defense. I think both teams, the offenses are so good, and I think Minnesota is going to move the ball on that depleted Lions defense, and I think we're going to see Addison be key again because teams are starting to take away Jefferson, and then you got Hawkinson, who I always bet on to score at least one a game, even if I'm wrong, and Addison. Sure. And I don't know if Detroit's defense can stop that. So Detroit's offense is just as lethal. Can Minnesota stop them?
Probably not. And that's why this thing to me is going to be a real track meet. You know, you think about Detroit, I think it's something like 8 games this year. They've scored 40 or more points. The Vikes have only put up 40 points once this year. Happened to be against Kirk Cousins. Thank you very much, Captain Kirk, for failing. But, you know, you think about how this can go. Detroit has made such a commitment to running the football with Jahmyr Gibbs. And I think that's really going to be so... I think that the Lions are going to start running the football first to set up play action, and that's when they'll start really targeting Laporta and Amon-Ra afterwards. It wouldn't surprise me if the first quarter is a little bit of a feel-out period, a little bit of a, all right, who's going to jump the route period on the defensive side? But yeah, I think ultimately if they take Jefferson away, this can be a Jordan Addison game, especially when you consider the two of Detroit's defensive backs aren't playing this week.
Around the league, Arash, we're into the final week. Some of these postseason matchups are set, some are not. What else do you look at outside of the Motor City?
I'm really interested to see what Denver's going to do. Like, here's a chance with a rookie quarterback to take a big step forward. Like, they haven't been to the playoffs since Peyton Manning won a Super Bowl for them way back at Super Bowl 50. Like, so this, to me, that's an intriguing one. I think the Tampa-Atlanta game is, you know, it's for a playoff spot. It's for a division title. Can Baker Mayfield kind of take that next step? But honestly, guys, this is a week that seems almost impossible to handicap because so many teams are sitting their guys. The Eagles are sitting everybody. Kansas City's sitting everybody. Across the league, if you've got nothing to play for, there isn't much there. What's that Cleveland line up to? Is it now a 20-point spread?
Just a sec. Football? Just a second, sir.
It opened at 17 and a half, which is
20.
absurd, and now it's 20.
20.
So I just think that we kind of look around, there isn't that much intrigue other than maybe, you know, a couple of playoff things.
You know who I become a fan of? not where I'm going to like switch allegiances. I've really become a fan of Bo Nix.
Yeah. Yeah. And I understand, like, you understand why that situation's been so good for him. First of all, you get hooked up with Sean Payton, this quarterback whisperer. And Payton's the one who was willing to put his reputation, his butt on the line, because remember, they paid Russell Wilson $60 million to go away.
It wasn't Sean Payton's money. It wasn't his money.
Yeah, but his buttocks was in the jackpot if things didn't work out there. I don't care how much clout you have with the owner. Telling them to light $60 million on fire is never a fun conversation. And so they're fully invested there with Nix. I heard something interesting the other day about now with the transfer portal in college football, and I thought this was really interesting, that before, quarterbacks had such a hard time in their first year in the NFL because they only knew one offense, they knew one system, they knew one set of terminology. Now you have quarterbacks going to 2, sometimes 3 different schools and learning 3 different offenses and 3 different schemes and all those kinds of things. So that helps in their transition to the pros. I thought that was a real interesting point. And also Nix was on the Brian Munn's academic plan. He spent like 7 years in college. So he's not coming in at 20, 21 years old. He's coming in a little bit older, and I think that kind of helped him too.
Like Van Wilder.
8 years short on that 7-year program.
Yes. Some they call those doctors.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Arash Madani from Rogers Sportsnet joining us this afternoon. Okay, so answer me this. Last one football for you. Bills are in New England.
Yeah.
Josh Allen says he wants to play.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you let him play a game that's against a 3-13 team?
I have a feeling that Josh is going to start the game, and after the first or second series, his helmet is mysteriously going to disappear from the Bills sideline. Like they're going to have to protect him from himself. Maybe just get out there, hand the ball off a couple of times, complete a couple of passes, almost make it like a preseason vibe for him. I mean, both of you have been around enough athletes. You just got to tell them no. And they all want to play. So I think that's what ends up happening.
Wow. It's Saquon Barkley. Like, let him play. Let him solidify himself in the record books for a long time. I'm actually shocked.
But Barney, Saquon has 1 career playoff win on his resume. What do you think matters to Saquon at this stage of his career after being in that dumpster fire in the Meadowlands with the Giants all those years? Like Philly's got as good a chance as anybody, Kansas City included, to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but you're still, if you're going to analyze and put the data out on this, you're close. Yes, it's not the Super Bowl, but you're close to being immortalized as, this record holder. And the odds are you will have that. The odds of you winning the Super Bowl are still, not that great. I don't know. That's just me.
I'll tell you why that record is going to go down. It's the same reason that Saquon can break the record. Because Saquon gets 17 games and Dickerson got 16. And in a few years, they're going to have 18-game regular seasons.
Yeah, because OJ had less than Dickerson.
Yeah,
so
OJ could cut and slash like the best of them.
I don't know. That is... there we are. Okay, let's shift from football. You made these guys laugh.
He was shifty. He could run. He could, he could follow his blocks.
Those Hertz commercials. Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Right.
Canada loses the World Junior yesterday. It's kind of taking over this program. We'll talk about it a little bit more. Just your take on it. And I know you're not like diehard hockey guy, but you think that we're probably going to see this happen more and more.
I do. It's not just that Canada lost yesterday. Canada went 1-3 in the tournament. Canada lost to a country with a population of 1.88 million. Like they were never in the hunt. They were never in the conversation. They got run out of the gym by the Americans. This was never really close. Like, I heard some of the whining about a knee-on-knee hit and a 5-minute major. Okay. Like, you can talk about that if you've been undefeated through the round robin and you're rolling and takes out your best player or something like that. Look, this was on home ice. They had every advantage given to them. And I think, guys, we're going to be looking at the Four Nations Cup coming up next month. We're going to be looking at the Olympics next month. I really believe there's going to be a changing of the guard in the hockey world. The Americans, their development system is better. It's deeper. They have so many more people at a grassroots level just playing hockey than they did a generation ago. It's just a math thing south of the border, and other countries have caught up. Just like we've caught up in basketball and soccer, getting to the bronze medal game of the Copa America, winning a medal at the FIBA World Cup. Other countries have done the same in hockey.
Hey, that's exactly what I've been saying. And it was inevitable, really, that we were going to get here, especially with the changing of the sport and how we just can't bully teams around and you can't hit anyone anymore. Okay, new year, new sports calendar. What are your hot takes when it comes to Canadians and Canadian teams this year?
So the second leading scorer in the NBA by like an eyelash was the runner-up for MVP last year. It's a guy from Hamilton named Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Shai has led Oklahoma City to now 13 straight wins. My take is that a Canadian is going to be the MVP of the NBA. There is nothing that this guy cannot do. That's one. And I think he's going to be like, if Barney, I think you and I have talked about this. If this guy played for the Knicks, there would be gigantic billboards of him all over Times Square. If he played in LA, he'd be in Hollywood movies, but he's just kind of stuck in Oklahoma City. All they're doing is just quietly winning. Here's my other take. Baseball. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. will not be a Blue Jay at the end of this year. Vlad,
Ooh, wow.
and there is like the hottest take, scorching, is that by Labor Day, Vlad's somewhere else.
Is that his choice or their choice?
I think that Vlad wants to be paid market value, and I don't think that the Blue Jays will pay him. They have thrown $700 million around Shohei Ohtani. They have offered Juan Soto a contract that starts with 7, and Vlad goes on a podcast in Latin America and says the offer the Blue Jays made to him was 340. There is nothing that is the biggest contract this front office has given is to George Springer for $150 million. I just don't. And Vlad believes in himself. So those are my two hot takes.
Arash, before we wrap it up, anything else for you on the calendar other than going to Detroit this weekend and getting home? What's on the horizon here for you?
Well, the all-new Sports Cage is going to have some presence at the Super Bowl, and it's going to have some presence at the NBA All-Star Game. So those are a couple on the docket coming up next month. So,
and Ovi?
As long as we get out of Detroit unscathed, that is.
The Windsor, isn't it the Windsor Hotel that we should be worried about?
It's the Windsor Hotel. It's that bus through the tunnel, and it's leaving that. Like if I'm wearing all purple and the Vikings win on Sunday night, like leaving that stadium around midnight local time, it's still Detroit,
A Truro, Nova Scotia man was seriously injured on Sunday in Detroit, Michigan.
Oh, boy.
Let's hope that's not. Knock on wood.
Doing the gritty on the 8 mile.
Yeah. Well, just remember where you are.
I know there's one other thing, too. Because you and I were talking about this earlier today. He is going to be playing some games up here in Canada. And we're not sure how it's going to play out because he could score 1 a night. He could score 3, could score 5. You're going on the Alex Ovechkin wash for a little bit?
Yeah, he's 24 goals away from Gretzky's record. So they're saying once it gets close, they want me there the night Ovechkin breaks it. So that'll be cool.
Yeah.
That will be.
I hope he doesn't do it on an empty netter. I just feel he's been scoring a lot of empty net goals over the last few years. That's what I don't want to see. Okay, Arash, travel safe. Can't wait to catch up on Tuesday. And I guess a little bit, go Vikes.
That's the spirit. That's the spirit. Yeah. There you go.
I got no horse in the race.
Over there. Come on, yeah.
Good luck.
Don't do this. Don't do this there. You'll get punched right in the face.
Hawkinson over yards. Hawkinson over yards. I like
it. If you're watching the stream, I'm doing the skull thing.
Skull. There you go.
We don't want Arash doing that. We want him to be safe.
Sharky just took the under.
Sharky just took the under. See you, Arash.
See you, boys.
Right on. Coast to Coast, Arash Madani for Brian Golly and Smart Investing Solutions.